So the beginning of the course, it's kind of set to get you going. First fence is a big log roll type. Then we come up to a nice big oxer, and again it's just to get the horses out and galloping. So generally, for time sake wise, you want to, if I'm riding, I'm going to take the right side. Save on ground early on. You're going to be very strategic in saving ground, because that can be precious seconds that you save in the end. Okay, so this is the first combination that we have on the course. This is fence number 3 and 4. So Derek's got some pretty airy rails. They are mem clips, so if the horse hits it too hard, they will fall down. So this is kind of meant to get the rider's eye and to keep coming. As a rider, you're going to want to jump the first one with your eyes looking at the second and kind of opening a right rein so the horses are kind of ready, knowing that a turn is coming up. If I was to be riding this, I'm going to I walked it in 8 strides. However, we are galloping and these are big, so knowing that, I'm going to ride to a point of turn, and this will probably be around 7 strides, I would think, with the horses kind of opening a downhill slope. And then you're going to land and keep on going. Okay, we got some options going on here. Let me check out all the routes. Okay, so coming up to 5A, B, C, D, we have a couple of options here. So the first direct route, coming in, you're going to want to, it looks kind of a really hard line, like, but it should ride quite nicely. I want to come to about here, riding the left side, because what that's going to do, this is a 3 stride, but that will help create a little, the horses are going to want to naturally go a little to the left, and that will put you actually on a really nice line to where you have you want to make sure your shoulders are absolutely straight at the duck. You don't want to jump the duck at an angle, because that can cause kind of legs to not snap up as quick. But if you ride the left side, take a little bit of a bend to it, the 3 is there, and then the 3 right up the mound should be no problem. If there are problems that are encountered at the first fence, then you can kind of come around, jump this very upright, skinny, make a hard right turn to a smaller jump in with more ground, which it's a 4 stride, a little bit more direct line up to the 3 stride. But this should be no problem. This is really kind of an accuracy question for the riders to get in on their line and not kind of get too hurried. So Derek really wants you to think about it, but then ride positive. This should be a good question early on. Whoa. We've had a nice little gallop after the water. Really get the horses rolling back again. This is a nice big kind of old school triple bar, a little bit of a natural ditch underneath it, so really going to want to keep the horses going. Look at the back rail, and should just pop right over this like a nonsense. There, no, it's really big. And of course it's been clipped, so another safety feature. If rider gets in a little wrong, horse kind of sits on the back fence that's meant to drop down to help minimize injury. So for 7ABC, we have another kind of accuracy question, turning question with undulation in the ground. So you're going to see the riders come and really hug that right side of the ropes and then come to the table. They're going to be thinking a little opening right rein. Give the horses a little bit of warning, there's going to be a turning question. But essentially you're going to come straight for about 4 strides, have a point of turn, then it'll be another 3 strides. So this should ride in a nice 7, and then you're going to land. And again, like, this is going to catch riders that want to get in a hurry and turn too soon, and you can have that right flag off for some penalties. So it's really important to hold your line straight after this, and then make sure you've got them on the outside rein, outside leg, so you can get those shoulders straight to your C and kick on. Should be a walk this in a 5, so walking straight in the 4 strides and then getting there on the last stride. So fence 8 is just another gallop fence. That can catch a horse or two with a peak, so it's important for riders to really stay positive and land and keep going. Really cool. Really gone back to like old school. Like, the fences are still beautiful, but it's very simple. Like how he's used the fallen down log. It's cool. So coming into 9, have to hold and make a really direct line to your corner, which is BC. There is an option, so if you have the glance off at the corner or you don't want to hold that direct line to that corner, you can take the B option here, make a hard left turn to the C option, which is a lower, smaller corner. But this should ride really well. Have a good positive horse holding on your outside rein, your right rein, right leg, to really make sure you keep the shoulders inside the flags. Coming to fence 10, a ditch and brush. This thing is massive. You know, the first time I rode it here, I was pretty scared of this fence. The key with riding the ditch and brushes is you keep your eye up on the brush, keep galloping on down the hill. It's not a fence that you want to ride on the decrease to. You want to keep on staying positive. Horses should have no problem and pop this easily, but it is massive. So for 11 ABC, fairly straightforward water complex here. You're gonna come jump the chevron, nice 5 strides up the hill, land. This is set at 33 feet for the 2 stride. Should feel kind of like a roller coaster. It's kind of fun to ride. There is an option if you want to go the long route. You jump this smaller chevron in the water, come around, jump this bigger log on the knoll, make a hard right turn, jump the smaller chevron on the outside. I think that would zap the horses taking the long route that soon in the course. I think this is really nice exercise. Get the horses good and focused. Should be a fun one to watch. I always forget how big this thing is. Fence 12. It's a really big picnic table. This again ends up being kind of a let up jump. This is right after the water. Kind of had a little bit of a gallop heading right up before the hollow, so you want to get a nice positive shot in and really save some seconds on this one. Here at the hollow, we've got, he's actually made it a little less complicated than he's had it in past years, I think. Come in, jump this nice big house. You're gonna go straight down the mound. The direct route is to turn, go directly up that mound. You've got about a stride once you get on top to jump that corner, and then turn right and kick on down the hill. The long option, if you would not want to do that, jump down the house, up the mound, over the smaller house, and then turn left, catch the C element, the corner on the turn, and then continue on. 14 is another big kind of breather fence. Coming downhill, the thing about this fence and where Derek puts it, it feels like you're in the air forever. On the back side, you're kind of going a little downhill, so you want to support the horses a little bit, but it's a really fun fence to jump. We got 15AB, which are these beautiful narrow stumps, and it rides off the mound to a nice 3-stride. This is an accuracy question, so the riders are going to want to have the horse in between your hand and your leg. And there is a black flag. Anytime you see the black flags means there's an option. So if there's a problem here on top of the mound, you can go around the mound and jump the B option here. Again, this is preparing us for the head of the lake that's coming up. We got fence 16 here. It's a big split rail oxer. Coming a little bit downhill, so riders are going to want to hold their shoulders off the face of this. And this, of course, is clipped and should be a good fence for right before the head of the lake. Okay, so we're at the head of the lake, and the direct route that Derek has set up is you do this roll top in, which is marked as 17A and B, come through the water, jump the duck, which is C element, then right hand turn to the brush, which is D, and then it's 7 strides up this up bank to the skinny out, which he's really enticing the horses to drop their right shoulder to get the glance off. Now, if riders have they have a lot of options here. So if they don't want to do the direct route, they can do 17A, which is this duck, to 17B to drop in, and then the goose or the duck on the other side to the brush to this. Or if they have an issue with 18, this is listed as 18AB, the bank. So if they don't want to do that, they can jump this brush and then continue to 18A, and then the long route to 18ABC, which is the second boat in the water. So after the head of the lake, this is a really great breather fence, fence 19, simple tricaner, coming down the hill, popping right over it. So it's a good mental break for the horses before they come to the next combination that's up on the top of the hill. So we're at the Normandy Bank. This is going to be a very difficult question coming near the end of the course. For the direct route, it's going to take a very accurate and brave ride, because you're going to jump up the Normandy Bank, and then it's going to be 2 strides to a very accurate corner, and then 4 strides to the chevron. However, Derek has set up a longer route, so we have an option where you can jump up the Normandy Bank, come to a left-handed corner, and do a nice sweeping turn to the C element. It may take a couple of seconds, but a couple of seconds is a lot better than a 20. So this is a rider's choice right here. Essentially the right side is maybe a smidge higher with the ground disappearing versus the left. I personally would probably just take the right side. I'd be saving on some time. Horses are going to be coming down the hill, can hug the ropes and keep on going. Fence 22. This is going to set the horses up right before the next water combination. So it's coming downhill. It's a fairly large cabin, but it will help sharpen the horses up before they come to the water complex. So both riders and horses are going to be a little tired, getting a little leggy. So it's going to be about maintaining their focus. So we have 23 A and B. The direct route is going to be the larger brush, drop in the water to 4 strides, up to the stump. There is a longer route where if you were to hug the ropes, jump a smaller brush down in where you have a 1 stride before you get to the water, 5 strides out of the stump. If you have an issue at the stump, you can go around and jump this option here. Oh, okay. So fence 24, the fruit stand. Really, they left us really nice apples. You can cut that out. Again, it's a straightforward gallop fence here. The important thing is to ride, to be very optimal in finding your good distance to the fences to help the horses use a minimal amount of energy. So again, we're coming to fence 25. It's another nice big gallop fence. So the rider's going to be coming up, really holding with their shoulder, preparing the horses for the end of the course. Second to last combination here. You can actually jump the right side of this, which is where I'm standing, or the left side. The left side is clearly the fastest way, but you'll see in the center there is a mound there of undulation. So that can cause a little bit of a accuracy question clearly by the skinnies there. So the right-handed side is a little bit longer route, but it's the safer option versus the direct line. Save a couple of seconds and go. So now we're at the last combination on course, and this is really where the riders need to do what's best for their horse. So you can either take the inside line, 27A on the right side to the B, or you can do the longer option, which is the left-handed side. And again, you can jump either of the B elements, and it's purely a decision based upon the rider. I've ridden both of these lines and they ride great. Actually, it is harder to make the turn on a tired horse than that. My opinion would be to jump the right-handed side, allowing the horse to come on the 5 stride, and then head on down to the last fence. This is probably our favorite site, is the finish line. So Derek's done a really good job of having a perfect last fence. We've got the brush, there's no overhang, so it creates a really good jump for the horses at the end, and then we kick on to the finish flags. Yes.